So this is kind of launching into the different styles of flexible work. The first type is telecommuting, and I think Karen is on the line, and if she's available to talk about her experience and her perception of pros and cons. Oh,
Everyone.
you know what, Karen? I can read your little bio here. I have a little bit of information. So Karen has worked in marketing for over 12 years for business to business technology companies with specialties in social media and online marketing. She's currently managing the strategy and day-to-day hands-on work of social media and multimedia marketing for iPass as editor of the corporate blog. Her career started as an industrial engineer before she went back to get her MBA. The mother of two school-age children, she also manages helping out in the classroom, running marathons, and coaching softball.
Hi, everyone. I guess I'm going to kick off the different types of work styles. So as you heard, I'm a full-time employee and balance a lot of different things. And even telecommuting, you could do probably a whole webinar just on telecommuting and all the different options there are. It's not like it used to be, as probably many people know, where there were job shares and definite telecommuting opportunities. It really depends on the employer. At the company where I'm at now, it actually had been an old policy to allow 1 day a week, and there's a management change, and they reluctantly kept it on. But it's interesting how different folks in my group have decided to deploy it in different ways. With some of them clearly picking a day in the week with no overlap. So there's no Monday or Friday, so it's a Tuesday through Thursday option, and we try not to have more than two people out of the office at one time. And I've made a different choice in that I flex my telecommuting muscle in times when I need it. So if I have an appointment or a classroom volunteer opportunity where it just makes more sense for me to work at home for a little bit, which kind of gets into the making the case. So I'll get into what I was going to talk about. One of the things with telecommuting is the balance between the productivity and what I call your perceived productivity. Many people say, and studies show, that just even a change of place can improve your productivity. So certainly working at home can improve it as long as you stay focused on task. The problem is your perceived productivity because you're out of the office and you're treatment. I think making yourself more available in response to email and just what you're going to be working on and what your hours that you're going to be working are definitely online, and also the use of collaboration tools, whatever those might be. It might be email, occasional teleconference to touch base during the day, or instant messaging tools. Those are all things that I use throughout the time when I'm gone. So I make sure the minute I sit down to work at home, I have my instant messenger on, so I can definitely answer questions, and then my cell phone's always sitting next to me, so I can be pulled into any quick conversation. So I'm reachable anytime, and I'm actually definitely at my computer most of those times. But if there is, in fact, I'm going to be at an appointment or something like that, I just make sure that everybody on the team knows that I'm going to be out for that amount of time. In terms of managing my face time, I make sure to set pretty clear expectations if I'm going to be out of the office for the day in terms of what I'm going to achieve. Some folks here, I'm going to actually jump down to the making the case, use that as definite project time where they might be focused on writing. They have writing as part of their job, and that's their time to do some quiet time and crank something out. Whereas other folks, like myself, will use it a lot of times for data analytics for some of the things that we're working on. But I'll make sure that my manager knows what I hope to achieve when I'm going to be at home, and then my responsiveness to anything that she sends out. I hate to be a slave to email, but I find that I use it a lot more when I'm working away from the office, just so folks see that I'm online and responding. Again, it really depends on company expectations and what they like. Not every company embraces a telecommuting policy. This is something that we had to gradually build up in our group as a trust thing, that we were getting things done, and actually read a lot of reluctantly, the management has discovered that we're actually more productive when we do get that telecommuting time. But it was also just making the suggestion. Mine was a different way to do the telecommuting, which is that I do the FaceTime as much as I can, but if there are opportunities, like for instance, I have a doctor's appointment this week, so depending on the timing for that, I will most likely work at home in the mornings and then just go back in later. The other thing that I do to make the case is oftentimes I'm missing a terrible commute time, so rather than spending another 30 minutes on the road, I can actually be spending that time more productively. And so for me, it was just kind of making the case and just realizing that there is a possibility that they say no, but there's also the possibility that they're going to say yes and see that I'm actually getting more done. And so how I make that case is I really focusing on some key projects and not using it as an email cleanup. So my examples, again, were writing or analytics, or I work a lot in social media campaigns, so I might crank out an entire campaign with all of the campaign elements. And then, again, if there's a chance for me to avoid a commute rush, sometimes it makes sense, and my boss will agree, that if I can get on the road before the commute starts, pick up a child or do what I need to do, I'm actually back online for another hour, getting more work actually done than I would have had I been sitting in the traffic. So it's really something you need to figure out with your work situation and what other folks are doing, and making sure that it's a win-win for you and for your company.